of the California Arts Council and Beverly Hills Arts Commission is the former West Coast editor of Andy Warhol's Interview magazine and society editor of the Herald Examiner. Her cover stories can be read in Venice and Detour magazines, and she is a contributing editor to California Apparel News. For the next half hour, Joan will bring you inside news and views on society, art, film, and the exhilarating worlds of these multifaceted people. Here is Joan Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to Joan Quinn, Etc. We're going to talk about travel again with a chef who works in Australia and with actress Michelle Phillips, who just came back from Australia. When I was at the Sheraton Mirage on the Gold Coast in Queensland, I was so impressed with the friendly service and the great seafood that I invited Chef Irwin to come on the show and talk to us. So here we are from Queensland, Australia. We're at the Sheraton Mirage Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. With us is the executive chef of the Sheraton Mirage, Irwin Wieseneder. Is that right, Chef?
Yes, John Wieseneder, really it is. Oh. But like what they call me here in Queensland, Chef Irwin, that's what they call me here.
So I'll call you Chef today.
Yes, that's easy, yes.
Where are you from?
I'm from Austria, original.
And how long have you been in Australia?
Almost 10 years now, believe it or not.
Oh,
yes.
So you're almost a native.
Yeah, a half native, you know, that's what they call me. And here in Queensland anyway.
What is Queensland to you?
Oh, Queensland is, let's see, the climate here is not really tropical, you know. We have the palms here, we have beautiful climate. It's kind of, I would say, California climate, really, you know, like Los Angeles around this climate, yes.
Do you feel confident talking about Queensland being from Austria?
Oh, definitely. You know, after 10 years in Australia and 4 years up here, I've been here since the opening in '87. I definitely feel confident to tell you a few stories about it.
I know there's something that they call Queensland cuisine. Is it like California cuisine?
Yeah, I would say so. Really, Queensland cuisine we have started about 2 years ago here, and what actually happened, I was in California to check up Californian cuisine at Wolfgang Puck's place, you know, and Spagos and so on, and I came back and I started a Queensland cuisine, so I brought the idea back of the Californian cuisine maybe and turned it into Queensland cuisine. Now what it really is, we're using our beautiful fresh products, the seafood, the fish, the tropical fruits, what we have the whole year round, because it's always something in season here. See, that makes it so interesting. So there's always something in season, and that's how we create our Queensland cuisine.
What is it, a combination of? I know you have seafood. What about wines? Are there wines from this area?
No, we have no wines here in Queensland at all. So wines we have to go further south to Victoria, New South Wales. Wines, the climate, it is actually too hot for to grow grapes here. You see grapes here, but you couldn't make any good wine out of it. Not really.
I see.
No.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought Queensland had everything.
No, that's the only thing. The alcohol we leave to the States a little bit further south.
Is it like throw another shrimp on the Barbie? That's what we know about Australia.
Oh yes, that's what you know in America, but I tell you in Queensland we throw something else on, and this is what we call a bug.
A bug?
Yes.
You throw a bug on? I know, we had it on our salads the other night. Tell us what a bug is. People kept going, is this a bug? I don't want to eat this.
A bug is really, it's in the family of a crayfish really, or something between crayfish and shrimps. And I have some here actually, if you want to have a look.
Can you pick it up?
I've cut them in half. That's how it looks. That's a half one.
Hold it up a little bit.
Right? If you look at that, that's a bug, and we call them. That's a Moreton-bay bug, and we also have Bailman bugs. A Bailman bug would be a little bit smaller and more round. And what it is, it's a beautiful flesh in here. You see that? A nice tail, and they're excellent.
Is it like lobster or shrimp?
It's like lobster, yeah. The meat is kind of sweetish taste, and it's excellent for grilling and on the barbie, of course. Yes.
Do they just call it a bug?
We call them Moreton-bay bugs.
Moreton-bay?
It's from the Moreton-bay bugs. That's what we call them.
Can we get those in America?
No, I don't think so. We don't export them at this stage anyway, because there is really not enough here. Just enough for the local use, really.
And And so you would either barbecue them, broil
Yes.
them, or boil them, or
Or
put
you make them in a
sauce?
nice sweet chili sauce, so you can use them for a salad really, as for a warm salad. You can eat them cold. As a main course, we also serve them with pasta here. It's very popular.
Oh.
Yes, so a kind of a nice, beautiful pasta dish, some Murtenbebaks with a peppercorn sauce or something to it.
What else do you have here?
Okay, I also have some of our prawns here. You know, we have excellent prawns here. They are fished straight out here from the ocean at the back here. Now, big
This
prawns,
is a
and
big
that's the shrimp. It's not really a shrimp; it's a prawn. That's what we call it. So that's an Ocean King prawn.
That's great.
And
we do the same. This is what you throw on the barbie.
That's what you throw on the barbie. Yeah. Yes. Good.
Any avocados?
Okay, of course. We have a lot of avocados here. They grow in the hinterland here. Huge
Tell us what the
here.
hinterland is.
The hinterland, really what you see here is the ocean behind us. Then you have the Gold Coast here, and the hinterland starts straight away, where it's actually also rainforest.
It's like the mountains.
Just the mountains. It's just a little bit further up here. It's the hills and the mountains. That's where the avocados grow. Beautiful mangoes.
The mangoes
you know,
are beautiful.
Beautiful mangoes. They just came in season now. And this is a crayfish, actually. We call them crayfish here.
How big is it?
It comes down way down there. I don't want to take it up. Maybe the whole thing falls down here. But it's the crayfish comes from a little bit from down south, actually.
Tell us what it takes to be an executive chef at a major resort. What kind of work load do you have?
Okay, it's quite a challenge here, and I have about 60 chefs here, and
60 chefs?
oh yes, you know.
Wow.
And it's a long day for an executive chef here, but it's a nice place to work, you know. And I've been here over 4 years now, and every day it's still a challenge for me, and that really keeps me going.
Do
you
you
know?
actually get your fingers into the food?
I do sometimes, to be quite honest, you know, especially when we create new things and so on. But then, of course, my sous chefs and so on carry on, and they're in charge of their different kitchens and so on, yes.
Have you worked in a single restaurant?
No, never in all my career, and I almost been 25 years in that industry. I always worked in large hotels, so I'm kind of the chef who likes big operations.
Do you think you'd ever want to just open your own little restaurant and be in
not
the kitchen?
really. Yeah, I played with the idea, but I don't think so. I think I really fit more into this kind of things. I like to organize people, to create things bigger than in a small scale, you know. So I think I stay with big hotels.
So it's a little different than Wolfgang Puck, even though you're both from Austria.
Yes.
Did you know him in Austria at all?
No, I never met him in Austria, so I met him actually. I had to go to California to meet him, right? But he kind of gone into a different direction. I think sooner or later, as a chef, you have to make up your mind what direction you go, and he is a top restaurant operator, as you know, and some chefs are more successful in that direction, and some other ones maybe what I'm doing. Yeah.
Maybe they couldn't run 60 chefs or run a big
That's
hotel.
right. I mean, to be quite honest, I think I would get kind of a claustrophobia, you know, in the little restaurants.
Do you eat your own cuisine?
Oh yes, definitely. I love food, you know, and my office is just outside the pastry kitchen. It's the worst for me, you know, really.
How do you keep so trim?
No, yeah, okay, all right. There is enough facilities here anywhere around the complex, you know. Sometimes I go a little bit to the sports center and so on to keep myself
fit. Oh, you
fit.
do? You
yes,
go
I
work
do
out?
that. Yes, yes.
Do you go in the water?
Yeah, I like diving here and swimming in the ocean. It's beautiful, of course, and the opportunity is just next door, so that's excellent.
Do you have any other, if someone were coming to the Gold Coast, where would you send them?
You mean around the Gold Coast? Or,
yeah, just something to see, something that's your favorite.
Okay, I mean, definitely up in the rainforests. I think that's excellent up there. If you wanna see the rainforests, there's huge trees and all these things up there. There's a lot to see around there. Entertainment-wise, of course, we have a lot of outdoor entertainment here.
Where do you go to relax?
I go home, to be quite honest, you know. I go home and sit in my garden. I have a beautiful garden and a nice pool, and I have a nice bottle of champagne. there. That's the way I relax.
And then does your wife have to do the cooking?
We split it up between us two. If there's something for entertaining some people, and I entertain a lot of people, at least once a week I have a party at home. I like to cook
Just from the locals?
Oh yes, you know, I have some friends, and I do a lot of experimental cooking at home with them too. So they're kind of my guinea pigs.
No, that's good. That's good. Now, what have you heard about, or what did you like when you were in Los Angeles?
What I liked over there? I think, I mean, I like California always anyway, but what I liked really in the way of cuisine is they really created something new over there with the Californian cuisine and all this. And what really impressed me was over there in the restaurants, the turnover of people, you know. They have 2-3 sittings a night and so on, and that really impressed me, because we can't get to that stage. We don't have enough people in Australia.
I know, it's very quiet.
Over there, I mean, we fill the restaurant once a night, and we are happy with that. But over there, I mean, we have seen 3 sittings, you know. And I remember I was staying at the Sheraton Grand, you know, in downtown LA, and I rang up and they said, we put you into the 3rd sitting, and I thought, oh Jesus, when is that going to be? 3 o'clock in the morning. But it was 10 o'clock, and 11:30 I had a 3-course meal, and it was excellent, you know.
Do you miss that, being raised with the European time? That was probably more with what you were raised with, the 10 o'clock sitting.
So you have to adjust. Yeah, it's very different here. You have to adjust to that, and especially here in our resort operation, I think people, they want to really relax, have more time. It's not that push and rush like you have in the big cities.
Right. What about schooling? I didn't ask you about where you went to school.
I went to school in Innsbruck in Austria. I did my hotel school in Innsbruck in Austria. Yes.
Do the things that you learned in Innsbruck come over to the things you're actually doing now?
Not anymore. I left Austria about almost 20 years ago now, and to be quite honest, I mean, the basics, what you have learned these days, you know, they're always good to know, but in the modern cuisine we have today, you really have to adjust yourself all the time. Cooking has become something like fashion, you know. You cannot follow back to these old things we learned these days. If you want to be on top, you have to really follow up, you know.
That's great.
Yes.
And we're going to be looking for you at the Sheraton Mirage on the Gold Coast, and we're going to have dinner with you tonight.
Sure.
And we're going to look for you in Los Angeles.
I tell you, I'm inviting you today to a beautiful barbecue out there. And,
right.
I even have some very exciting things for you there. I'm going to have some crocodile for you. And we're going to have some emu meat.
Ooh,
and it's already marinated for a couple of days, you know.
Yeah, I bet. They look tough.
They look tough, but they will be very nice and tender after the way I marinate.
That's interesting.
So there's some exciting things coming up tonight.
Part of the Queensland cuisine.
Yes, it is actually. Yes, it is. Crocodile is something very exciting here, and I've created my own marinades and with kiwi fruit and all these things. So you look forward to that tonight?
I'm looking forward to it. Only if you'll have dinner with us. Thank you, Chef Erwin Wiesen-Neider.
Okay. Yes, okay.
And
terrific.
Chef, thanks a lot for being with us.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thanks. We'll see you later. We'll see you next time on Joan Quinn, etc. We were just talking about the food with Michelle Phillips. So Michelle, did you get to eat any of those bugs?
Well, I didn't eat the bugs. I think it's an unfortunate name, but I hear that they're delicious. I did have the hairy shrimp, though, and that was out
Tell
of
us
this
a
world.
little bit about the hairy shrimp. You were just
hairy shrimp is shrimp in batter and then rolled in coconut. That doesn't sound so exciting, but let me tell you, there's something about that combination that was absolutely exquisite.
Were you on the Gold Coast when you were in Australia?
Yes, we were right in Surfer's Paradise, which is exactly where he was.
Yes.
Right.
And where did you go?
And the restaurant at the Sheraton Mirage that I went to, because I wasn't staying at the Sheraton, was the Great Wall, which is the best what were we doing? Pacific Rim food, you know, Chinese, Korean, and Singapore, and so on. So the best. Mix. That was wonderful.
And were you working?
I was driving a race car.
You actually drove in that?
In the Dayco, yeah.
It was a Grand Prix, Indy Grand Prix.
Yes, the Dayco Indy Grand Prix. And I thought when they said, you know, we want you to be in the race, I thought they meant I was going to, you know, like go around the track and wave at people.
That's what I thought you were going to do.
Yeah, they made me race.
That's what a celebrity would do.
I raced in a Ford. We were all racing in Fords. I don't feel too badly about not coming in first, since it was Parnelli Jones who actually won it.
How fast did you go?
I went much too fast for my you know, I felt very uncomfortable. I will never do another race again. I don't like to go fast.
Well, we'll come back and talk about something else. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back and talk to Michelle about all of her different careers. She's, for the place she is now, she's had 3 careers. So we'll talk about that when we come back from our break. We'll be right back on Joan Quinn, etc. Welcome back to Joan Quinn, etc. We have Michelle Phillips with us. You've already seen her, and we've talked to her for a little while. But Michelle has always looked like the quintessential California girl, blonde, blue-eyed, and fun-loving. But she's that and much more. As a member of the group, the Mamas and the Papas, she co-wrote and sang one of the best-known pop songs ever, California Dreaming. The Mamas and the Papas were Grammy Award winners. And when the group disbanded, she made films. She wrote a book. She worked at being a survivor, and now she's on the top of another field, television. She's been in a number of series, and she starred in made-for-TV films. And she's a regular on Knots Landing. Michelle, how do you do it all?
What an intro. Well, I just love to work.
You really do, and for years and years, from making one career change to another career.
I was a model first.
Oh, I forgot about that. Were you?
I was a model when I was 17, when I lived in New York, and then I started singing with John. I never wanted to be a singer, and when he suggested I join the group, I thought it was total lunacy. But there you are.
Did you have obviously you had a voice. Were you taking singing lessons?
I did start to take singing lessons once I agreed to join the group. And I studied with Judy Davis in San Francisco. And, but I was never really prepared for the kind of what was to be expected of me in the group. I really had to work very, very hard to sing those parts.
The 60s is so big now, and the Mamas and the Papas are, and people talk about them all the time.
I get fan mail from 13-year-old kids saying, you know, the Mamas and the Papas, I'd never heard them before, but they're my favorite group, and I just bought the CD. Good for them.
Isn't that great? Because yeah. It's like you've started, you have a whole generation of people who are now starting to know what you did at that time.
Yeah.
What happened when it disbanded? Or how did it disband? Can you give us a quick little...
Yeah, it was just very, it was an, we had worked, you know, the Mamas and the Papas were only together for 2.5 years.
No, it seems forever.
And it seems impossible that we really, that we created that much music in 2.5 years. And we were just burnt out. There was no more, we couldn't write anymore. There was too much pressure from the label for more material, and we just didn't have any more material in us.
But you were writing as well. I mean,
that's all we did. All we did was we would write, we would rehearse, we would record, and we'd go on the road, and then the process would start all over again. But you can't just continue, well, we couldn't anyway, we just couldn't continue keeping the level of the material up, and we felt that the material was suffering. So we said, let's just forget about it.
And that was it?
That was it.
And then you started acting? Did you start acting right after that, or go into film work?
Well, you see, I thought I was going to just walk into leading roles, and I had quite a shock when I realized that people didn't take me seriously as an actress at all. They said, you're a singer. What do you want to be an actress for? You know. So
why did you want to be an actress?
Why not? Don't you?
As the next step.
Yeah. I'd always wanted to be an actress, and this seemed like an opportunity for me to, you know, to act. So actually, I had some very good friends that were actors at the time. That were successful actors, and I was told, if you want to act, go join a workshop and act every day. And so I did, and I studied with Justin Smith, and I studied with Fury, Peggy Fury.
Oh, yes, Peggy,
and that was really good, because people said, well, maybe we ought to give her a break because she is at least studying, you know. So.
But you still didn't get to walk into those big roles.
No.
What were some of those films? I know you played opposite Nureyev.
Right. The first movie that I ever did was Dillinger. Opposite Warren Oates and Cloris Leachman and Ben Johnson and Richard Dreyfuss. And I was very, very fortunate to have walked into a movie with actors that were very, very supportive and talented. That helps. And then I met Ken Russell because he was casting for the Janis Joplin story, which I knew I would never in my life do, but I wanted to meet Ken Russell. And a couple of months later, he sent me the script for Valentino.
Oh, that's how that happened.
Yeah, and so I did Valentino with Nureyev, which was kind of a nightmarish experience.
But very moody.
Very moody.
Very moody.
And I did Bloodline with Audrey Hepburn and Omar Sharif and James Mason. I played James Mason's wife. And
so you had this actually great film career.
Yeah.
Now, was China born along the way? She has
was born a long time ago.
She has a beautiful daughter, China, who is in the singing group Wilson Phillips.
Right.
And how did that happen? Did you encourage her? Or?
Oh, no, I tried to discourage her from getting into the music business. She was already an actress, and she was doing a lot of work, and very, very good work as an actress. She had just played Roxanne Pulitzer. She'd done had just done that movie. She played Roxanne from 17 to 33.
Wow.
And she was brilliant in it. She did a movie with Robert Urich that she was absolutely great in, called The Homecoming. And I really tried to dissuade her when she and Carney and Wendy came to me and said that they were going to try to get a record deal. I said, this is a really bad idea, girls. Very, very bad idea. You know.
And Carney and Wendy were the daughters of the Beach Boys, of the group, the Beach Boys.
Of Brian and Marilyn Wilson. Mm-hmm. And they had been childhood friends.
Did you know the Beach Boys? Did you know the Wilsons at that time when you were singing?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Because that was the sound, the California sound.
Right. We were all friends. And I remember when Carney was born, and I remember when Wendy was born, and China and Carney and Wendy were always very, very close friends.
Did you all sing around the house? Did you like sing at the breakfast table or at the dinner table?
I wouldn't go that far, Joan, no. But they did, the girls always sang together. And Brian was always sitting at the piano playing something, you know. So
why would
music, and there was a lot of music around them.
Why would you discourage her from going into
the record business?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, it's a very, very difficult business to break into. First of all, I thought that they would be met with a lot of opposition just because of who they are. I just thought, boy, they're setting themselves up for a big fall. But when I heard them sing, I said, okay, let's hear it. You know, you girls going to get a group together. I want to hear what it sounds like. So they sang 8 bars of a song, and they sounded great. I mean, really, they sounded terrific. And they said, so Mom, China says, we need a producer now. I said, well, yeah, but you can't just go out and get a producer with 8 bars of a song. You've got to work up some material. No, we need a producer right now.
So they were really...
So I called Richard Perry, who produces everybody, and I said, the girls want to come over and sing for you. And about an hour later, because he said send them over, he said, you know, Michelle, they only sang 8 bars of a song. And I said, well, Richard, I told them they had to work up some material. He says, that's okay, I'm sending them anyway.
See, but that was the point, right?
Right,
they were
right.
confident and they knew they could do it.
And they were good.
And
they
you've
were good.
always been like so into your family, just telling these stories. I mean, we know that you're right there with them. You have a little boy, Austin.
Well, I have 2 little boys now.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I know about Austin, who's so darling. How old is he now?
Austin is 10, and Aaron is 10. We have adopted Aaron, and so we have a very noisy household.
Oh, it sounds great, though. Oh,
yeah, it's fun. It's really fun to have 2 10-year-old boys. It's challenging.
Very. We're going to jump from what you do around the house and all your family into TV world now.
Okay.
So
I'm ready.
You're at Knots Landing. I don't know how we got that far, but from films you went into TV.
Yeah, I have done a lot of TV along the way, and then they came to me, the producers of Knots Landing came to me and said that they wanted to write a part for me. And so I said, okay. So the horrible Ann Matheson was born.
And so let's see a clip of Ann Matheson.
Yeah, she's actually being nice in this clip, but...
Oh, all right, we'll see a nice clip of Ann Matheson.
Dr. McDonald, please call the operator.
I just spoke with my guardian angel.
What'd your guardian angel say?
My guardian angel said that Paige was going to be okay.
My guardian angel won't even talk to me.
Why is that?
Disapproves.
Of us?
It's been fun, Greg, but I can't do this anymore.
You're dumping me for a doctor, right? That ear, nose, and throat guy that floats through.
Forget doctors. They don't make house calls anymore.
I
Look, I'm gonna need
I'm sorry.
at least 2
Nurse, get Dr. Green. Ann, she's coming too.
She was nice?
Yeah, well, you see, what's happened here is that I've had an affair with Sumner, who my daughter had an affair with.
Oh, I see.
And then I realized that he's still in love with her. And that's why I say, you know, I can't do this anymore.
Well, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about how long your hair was in the set and how short it is today.
Yep, well, I told Yuki, I said, Yuki, I just want to take these strands off. Actually, I'm wearing a piece on the show to fill in.
Do you wear it all the time, or do you just wear it for...
No, I wear it. I'm not going to wear it next season, I'll tell you that.
You're going to have a nice short do.
You're always like...
What have you done, or what do you want to do that you haven't done? I mean, we talk about this person with 3 careers, and you're like barely starting your life. You have so much ahead.
You know, people ask me this all the time. I just don't really know. I would like to, this sounds really stupid, but I'd like to open a restaurant. Because I love to cook, and everyone says, "Well, this is total, you know, this is ridiculous because you can never make any money in the restaurant business unless you become like Wolfgang Puck or your other guy who is just that."
But you can be there every night greeting everyone.
Yeah, see,
you can entertain. You can do everything. And what should we call your restaurant?
I don't know. We could call it. Pica on Pico. You know what a pica is?
Pica. What's a pica?
A pica is when you have a desire for exotic foods.
Okay, we're going to watch for Michelle and her exotic fooded restaurant when we come back. And when she opens her restaurant, we'll have her back to tell us about it. Thanks, Michelle, for being with us.
Thank you, Joan.
And thanks for being on Joan Quinn, etc. See you next time.